Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't... Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I'm your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and we have a jammed-packed episode for today where we're going to be looking at the Superman trailer, Creature Commandos, Skeleton Crew, and What If Season 3's debut episode, and so much more. But as always, and this is the second last episode before Christmas. I can't believe how close we are. And the fact that Christmas is right here. Christmas is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you've done your Christmas shopping. I hope you've got all your plans ready because of what's coming up. So hope you got it ready because it's go time. It's go time right now. And look, if you haven't already, please definitely go check out our last few episodes. We've had the wonderful Andy from Galactic Core podcast coming to the show where we reviewed the debut episode of Skeleton Crew, and we also got into Kraven the Hunter, which bit of a mixed bag with Kraven the Hunter, I must admit. So, which I think has been a mixed bag with everybody. But definitely go check out that last episode. We had a good time ranting about Kraven the Hunter, the good, the bad, and how it's a wonderful hunt, but with some major flaws in the whole thing. So definitely go check that out as always. Another thing I always like to say is definitely go check out and hit us up and subscribe to our letterbox. Still newish to letterbox, so definitely give us a review every single movie. Not only are we going to be reviewing on the podcast, reviewing on the live show, but we'll also be reviewing letterbox at the same time, which now I'm pretty sure letterbox has now also introduced TV shows, which comes a little bit handy as well, because I was talking to a friend the other day. He's like, oh, I've got there's one app for TV shows and one app for movies. I'm like, oh god, it sounds like social media. I've got one app here, one app there, one app over there, and I'm just like, it could just all be one. So that's good to know. Letterboxd is going to be introducing more TV shows. Obviously, you're going to review it all the way at the end, which we have done for Penguin and a couple other shows, and what we will be doing for Dexter the Original Sin, which is currently coming out every single week. Now it is this month, next month, Feb. It is 100% go, ladies and gentlemen. There is so much content out right now of good shows, which we're going to be reviewing today, and some bad stuff. There right now in the theaters. We got Sonic 3 that's smashing through the box office, being Mufasa, the Disney movie, which just to be honest with you, I don't know anyone who actually was excited for Mufasa movie. I don't think I had anyone I knew that was really excited for it. Everyone was pretty much more excited for Sonic. So, yeah, that's it. That's why Sonic is winning at the moment. But definitely go check out our letterbox, as I always do appreciate it. And let's go into some news. So this week, amongst everything that's been released, we got some really good news and we got some bad news, as we always do get a little bit of a mixed bag. One of the interesting things is a reboot of the Mummy movie that's coming in 2026 under the Blumhouse banner. Now, it's interesting that we're going to be getting another one because after the horrible Tom Cruise one, which was just pretty much that was exactly what that was like. Especially after you get the first two. You did get 3 Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser. 2 are fantastic. The third one's a bit but still, it's not too bad. So we will be getting a brand new Mummy reboot, and this is going to be a lot darker and twisted, which I'm all for. Yes, when I did see the release date, when I see 2026, I'm like, oh my god, that's so far away. But at the same time, I'm like, well, in about 2 weeks' time, it's only going to be a year and a half away, which means that we're a year and a half away until we get Avengers Doomsday, which, I'm so excited for that. But Mummy fans, we're getting a brand new Mummy movie. Before you ask, this is just an announcement, so nothing's been tied to it. Just an announcement before we get any plot details or what if or what's going to be in the story frame. So hold on to your butts on that. Now, I also did mention the fact that we have got not only Sonic 3 is currently being in the box office at the moment for Christmas. The film, I haven't seen it yet, but the reviews for it are very positive. And, which was kind of no surprise, Sonic 4 is 100% in development, and we're looking at 2027 for that film. The Sonic franchise has been an absolute winner. For video game going to movie transition, it has done fantastic. Between the 1, 2, 3, the Knuckles spin-off TV show, and getting 4, obviously with the wonderful help with Jim Carrey, as Robotnik has done extremely well. So that's helped a lot, for obvious reasons. But it's still saying that, right now, which I've said multiple different times, is that this year for video games going to movie transition has been fantastic. Between, again, Sonic 3, Fallout TV show, Last of Us, it's just been winner after winner after winner. So it's really good to see, and I hope that, again, that trend continues on, especially with The Last of Us Season 2 coming out next year. Fallout Season 2 coming out in 2026, probably, roughly about then. So, and then obviously after that, we've got 2027, Sonic 4, which I'm pretty sure there's also the Uncharted 2 movie that's also in active development. No release date, but in active development right now. But Sonic fans, there's a lot more Sonic on the way, which is great to see. Also, now this is what I'm really excited for this. So, in a recent interview, Robert Kirkman, who is the creator of Invincible, has said that apparently they've done a lot for season 4 to get that ready after season 3. But he said he's got a whole map to go up to season 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10. Which is, if that's true, I'm all in for it. If the quality can stay consistent between the seasons, I'm in. 100% keep milking this for 10 seasons. Maybe 10 seasons and no more. That'll probably be good. But yeah, just the 10 seasons and that'll be good. And look, Invincible is a TV show that if you haven't already jumped on board on it, I definitely highly recommend it. It's got some great writing, great characters, and is obviously more in line of being absolutely brutal, bloody, and it's just slightly satire to the whole superhero genre, but also fantastic to see. Especially last season was great, and I can't wait for this brand new season, which is right around the corner. So I'm all up for that. But hey, 8 more seasons of Invincible, I'm all in. Take my money. Unfortunately, I just don't want the bloody Amazon ads. Oh. Speaking of Amazon as well, apparently Amazon and the owners of the James Bond franchise are currently having a disagreement on how they want the new direction of the brand new James Bond franchise to go. So currently right now, is a development of where the brand new James Bond will go. Now, the Daniel Craig era has officially ended and where it's going to go moving forward. Now, obviously with MGM being sold and all changes, now, James Bond is under the Amazon banner. Amazon owns the distribution rights for the James Bond franchise, which, when they first announced, that's fine. That's fantastic because that's pure Amazon money. So that is a win. But apparently the fact that the disagreement they're having is that Amazon wants to currently Marvel-esque the James Bond franchise, meaning both the main movie, spin-off shows, something else entirely, all into this, and make it a grand universe. And the owners of the Bronxes, I probably butchered that entirely, have said that they don't want to do that. They still want to keep it in a similar fashion of what they've done in the past. Now, this is a kind of debate, is like how, would you, as a fan, would you want to see a massive James Bond franchise in the sense of, spin-offs, sideshows, going and building the world of James Bond? Or do you want to keep it what we have seen before, where we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with Daniel Craig, but in a similar fashion? In fact, you can pick up a movie and that's pretty much the whole story. In that, you don't have to know pretty much prior, except for a previous movie. And look, it's look, if this is the case of what this is happening with, it's the James Bond reboot is going to take a little bit longer until we're going to see the eventual of what it's going to look like. Who's going to be starring? Who's going to be 007? But I guess we can rest assured the fact we've got that sweet, sweet Amazon money behind it. In saying that, I know we did have that sweet, sweet Amazon money behind Red One, and that was a giant pile of half-baked shit. So, but then you on the flip side of thing, you get the sweet, sweet Amazon money, and you get the Fallout TV show. So, not to mention, Amazon also does have the distribution rights for the God of War TV show, which I am humbly waiting for in that sense. But right now, with currently between the owners, Amazon, it's going to take a little bit longer until we're going to see that James Bond movie. So definitely don't hold your breath at all, because it's going to be going. But let's talk about one of the biggest announcements in the past week. Announcements, trailer, poster, everything else in between. The brand new Superman trailer. Now, the Superman trailer, which has ranked up an incredible amount of views on YouTube, and it is the 5th or the 6th highest grossing debut trailer for 24 hours to drop, which is only behind Spider-Man No Way Home. I think all the Avengers trailers except for Avengers, the first one. So it's fantastic to see, because it's quite highly debatable where this is going to go, because right now it is kicking off the brand new DC Studios franchise, DC Studios in the James Gunn era. Not to mention, this is the first Superman solo movie that we're going about 13 years since Man of Steel. And of course, you got the Snyder fans that are ridiculous going, oh my God, this isn't my Henry Cavill, that's not my Superman, or that suit doesn't look good. I will get to that though. But this trailer was more just a highlight reel to get you into the world. This wasn't a full trailer. Now we see the key characters, we see all the heroes, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl. We see them all the trailer. We see Crypto, which when I saw it, I was like, if anything happens to that dog, Superman better become John Wick or John Superman Wick, like that, or I don't care. Same pretty fashion, I want to see that. But this trailer, I did like it in the sense that we just basically need to know who's appearing, a very small what the plot's going to be, and we see Superman. Now, this is going to be a very more hopeful Superman than what we have seen previously with Henry Cavill's version. Like, don't get me wrong, Man of Steel is a fantastic movie, and I think it's quite underrated. And look, it could be very much to me. It's still me as well. Like seeing this Superman suit compared to the Henry Cavill suit is that I do prefer the Henry Cavill Superman suit, because I just think it looks more clean cut and it looks fantastic. But very much that we could be getting the fact that what we're seeing from this Superman is that he's Mark 1 armor, and then we're going to get another suit. He's going to get a suit towards the end, because in this trailer we see him be hopeful, we see his ass kicked, we see him crying. We see a lot of emotion from the Superman and what could be happening. And obviously we see Lois Lane, we see Lex Luthor, and James Gunn has mentioned the fact that Lex Luthor is kind of working basically in the background. He is not the main villain of this movie. So from just that sizzle reel, we got a great idea of what the Superman movie is going to be. We're probably not going to get the next full trailer until, say, March or whenever the Super Bowl is, because it's rumored that the Fantastic Four trailer will be at the Super Bowl as well. So we'll probably get a little bit of both, because you got to remember, this movie comes out in July the 11th, and this 2 weeks later we get the Fantastic Four movie. So it's Fantastic Four versus Superman head to head. Now, there's been great. Now with this trailer, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this is going to be. But I'm keeping my reservations reserved, because of being DC and being what we've experienced in the past. But in saying that, this is under James Gunn, and in James Gunn we trust. The Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, the Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker. He's doing fantastic work. I tell you what, it's so weird. It's so weird when I was watching this trailer. It's like from from Warner Brothers. It comes up and it says, and from the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and then comes James Gunn. So the funny thing is seeing the Marvel-esque Marvel on a Superman trailer. Not to mention, they said the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. They didn't say Suicide Squad. But of course, Guardians of the Galaxy is more popular than the Suicide Squad film that we got to get, so that was understandable. But I want to know, what did you think about the Superman trailer? Do you like it? Do you didn't hate it? So far, as in the comments, there's a lot of people who didn't like it, which I think is probably more crazy Snyderverse fans. That's probably what I'm seeing. Not to mention, I like the poster. I like the poster, seeing Superman and just seeing the type of being hopeful and being what Superman is message. And probably one of the best things I have seen is that when you look at the Superman poster, and then you look at the very first, the Batman poster being in the red and the black, you can really see the two distinctions between the characters. You got vengeance, and then you got hopeful, side by side, and that looks fantastic. And that's what the poster should represent. Not to mention the poster for, and same thing with the Batman, is the Superman poster. That is like a frameable poster. That looks good. And I do love that they have remixed and blended in the original John Williams theme for this movie. So that, opposed to Man of Steel, where they made their own theme, they're kind of remixing the originals to give you that vibe of, this is where it's going to go. This is the feeling you're meant to feel, and going with, James Gunn's Superman, which I would love to know what you all think about it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So July the 11th, get ready. Superman is going to be back on the big screen. And unlike Henry Cavill's last appearances as Superman, he's going to be a little bit more hopeful entirely. But let's talk about James Gunn's next project that has been streaming on binge for us, but it's HBO Max. I was about to say it's just Max, but HBO Max is Creature Commandos. Now, this show I've absolutely been loving. This has been really good. I got to remember that Creature Commandos, everyone that's got basically 90% of everyone who's appearing in Creature Commandos, who does live, is going to be in the live action DC Studios. Not to mention, it is basically the semi-sequel to James Gunn's Suicide Squad and Peacemaker Season 2. So we do see that. And this latest Creature Commandos episode is basically the backstory of Weasel, which, my God, this episode was just, I tell you what, just gut-wrenching it all together. You feel so sorry for Weasel. You feel, spoilers, is that you feel so sorry for him because you find out, it's based on a Suicide Squad movie, and the 3 episodes of this was that Weasel, who basically is insane, half human, I don't really what he's meant to be. Obviously being a weasel, but just seeing that and what he's going to, and seeing how brutal he's been to Sarah, basically beating her sweet ass with when she was in episode 3, and in watching him, he killed 27 children, and you find out the fact that he was only trying to help the children. He got wronged and all of it, and you feel so sorry for him. So right now, Creature Commandos, I'm just like, Weasel, you were the unsung hero, and you feel bad for him. And this is a great thing that James Gunn does with these characters. These aren't A characters, these aren't B, these aren't C, potentially the D characters, and you really feel for him. You really feel you feel for Weasel. And last week's episode, you feel for G.I. Robot, and unfortunately who met his demise, which I'm pretty sure he's going to come back in somehow. But you feel him, and the episode before that, you feel sorry for the bride. You really feel for these characters, and when they come to be a team. Now, as that backstory of Weasel does happen, we also got a glimpse into the future and what's going to be happen forward. So, in the first 3 episodes, it's all about a mission about saving the princess. Now it's a flip to, we're going to go kill the princess because apparently in the future she's going to be taking over the entire world, and we get this flashback. This vision of all these superheroes dead, which is Batman, Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and the Superman in the is indeed the same Superman in James Gunn's Superman as well. So that's how it's tying in. So now it's become a mission to go attack and go kill her now. And while that's going on, we also get Eric and Rick Flag Sr. have a really funny interaction because he's just obsessed with the bride and wants to love her, and now it becomes a mission of now Rick Flag doesn't want to go kill her because he loves her, and now it's going to become a whole massive thing. So, 100%, if you haven't jumped at Creature Commandos, definitely jump onto it. The writing's good, the story's good, and you feel for these characters. And like right now, like as I said before, is like I've got in my week we've got Skeleton Crew, we've got Creature Commandos, we've got now What If, and now watching Dexter. Try and keep all in between. So much content, and it's fantastic. Because sometimes you have massive lulls where you get nothing for a while, but it just seems like it's just massive November, December dump, and like here's all the shows leading up to Christmas. But so far, Creature Commandos has not had a lull episode. This is 4 episodes out now. Each episode has been as strong as the last, and it's keeping that tone. And it's very dark, so definitely keep that in mind. And if you haven't already, jump onto this. I'd love to know what you think of Creature Commandos if you've got the time with everything else going on. And now the other, also fantastic show that's kicking off is Skeleton Crew, Star Wars on Disney Plus. Now, this episode was episode 4 as well. I don't know anything about At-Atten. Now, this show, me and Andy were talking about this. It seemed a bit slow at the start, but it's getting momentum in that sense, and it's going to that darker route, because I always was saying in my last episode was that it's always too lighthearted, that I'm hoping will take a darker turn, which we did get in this episode, which definitely did feel a big post-apocalyptic, definitely Fallout vibes in this episode. So in the previous episode, it was going to be they got the coordinates at Atten, actually, but they didn't. It was at Akram. Bleh, at Akram. Bleh. Is that they got the coordinates to this next planet. Now we found out the fact is about 10 planets that were shut off and were kept secret at the old Republic. Now, some of these planets have been destroyed, pillaged, and gone. There's a couple of planets left. This is one of these planets. Now, this is completely opposite at Atten, where it's been a war. There's kids as soldiers. It's not looking good at all. And kids get captured. They find out about what's happening, and they're trying to find their way home. Of course, still find their way home, and the team, the kids and Jog get split up. But at this episode, it's still episode by week. You know who the hero of this show is? Neil. Neil is just the embodiment of how you'd feel an adventure. And I feel when Skeleton Crew does end, it's going to be Neil is just the hero of the whole thing. Just like the fact of just like his character, his CGI / makeup is just fantastic, and it's great to see. And even this episode, you really do feel for him. He's like, I don't want to fight. I just want to go home with my friends, and we're just going to find a way. So, helping the resistance. They tell them where to go, and there's a sacred temple that's got all this writing on it to go check it out. Now, the interesting is the kids do say that this is exactly the same on their planet as well. So what's going to happen? And in the past 2 episodes, we have not been joined back on what's happening at the moment. So we don't know what the parents are doing. So as we go into this sacred thing, they find out these up here, they have multiple different coordinates for all the other planets. But the coordinates for Atten has been destroyed, which they do find that it's SM-33 that destroyed it. And then they find out the fact he's been override not to talk about Atten. And this is what I do really love, is that when kids do mention at Atten, he always says, I don't know anything about Atten. But in this episode, it kind of like doubles up, and you really do notice it. And then the kids figure out the fact that anytime someone mentions that, he has to say that, because he does say he destroyed the coordinates with his old captain. So the kids override him to find out the coordinates, if he remembers what they look like. unfortunately, there's still one protocol. The fact that the old captain said that if anyone does mention Aaron to kill them, they're lucky enough Jor does save Neil, because SM3 goes after Neil. He turns him off. So right now, the kids are stuck on this planet. They don't have the coordinates, and they got a robot that's going to kill them. They're going to have to try and fix. And Neil's passed out. So this episode is... I liked it. I liked how much darker it went in. I do like the change in characters that, in the sense, I thought SM33 was going to save the kids and be like the funny robot in the background. No, he's going to try and kill him, but he still might be the hero. And so we're kind of at the semi-halfway point now, leading up to the next few weeks. I've actually just planned out for the episode for the final, which we've got both the Brandalorian and the Galactic Core podcast coming out of this to review the final as the last Star Wars TV show for 2024, but also the first Star Wars TV show for 2025 in that wonderful gap between. So we got that in between that. So, but Skeleton Crew, this is definitely adventure based. This is definitely you can show your kids this. It's not too dark, but it brings out that sense of adventure in Star Wars once again. That might be feel like we're missing that we did get in the first episode, Mandalorian, in the first season of Mandalorian. Now, Mando may appear in this because it is set in the Mandoverse. We've still got the pirates that are currently going after them. So something big's going to happen in the next few episodes. I can see it happening, but we're still loving the dynamic, and it's still a good show. So I do understand some people might find this boring because there's not a lot of action in it, but the adventure is there and going into this. So definitely, I would highly recommend if you haven't or jumped onto it. So Skeleton Crew, so far episode, haven't felt the lull. Again, it's staying strong every single week. And seeing all the characters and being back in the Star Wars universe entirely. And whoa, where'd that come from? Now, let's get on to the last show that we've just recently watched. And I'm going to be somewhat critical on this in the sense that I wasn't overly impressed. Or not was I like, wow, in the sense in saying that. So looking at the What If Season 3. So What If series. So Season 1 was really good. Season 2 was a little bit of hit and miss. But the whole sense of What If is to put these characters in situations that make you ponder and what if. I can't say I ever thought what would happen on if the Hulk versed Mech Avengers. Not to mention if he became a Omega level Hulk. So the premise in this is the fact that Bruce Banner wanted to get rid of the Hulk entirely. Instead of trying to remove the gamma, basically he overexposed himself, which created a pure monstrous gamma rated monster called the Apex, which could make multiple different smaller versions of himself, which required the Avengers to create these mech suits. And of course, the original Avengers died, and the next generation of Avengers helped save them. But now the Apex has come back, and what are they going to do? And Sam Wilson goes to Banner to try and see if he can help them. He has a key code, which basically makes a super mech of the Avengers, which looks really cool. That part is awesome. I like that. That was really cool. But it's only on the screen for like 5 seconds before, like 10 seconds, like a couple of scenes, and then boom, it's defeated on the ground. I was like, okay, that was 5 minutes of woo, and then just back and defeat on the ground entirely. But going into spoilers as well, so there's another sense. What's going to happen is that Bruce Banner comes into it, and basically he overexposes himself to gamma again. He becomes Omega Hulk, and versus the Apex, he does beat the Apex, other one, and then through friendship, Sam Wilson helps the Hulk, and then he takes the other monsters away onto a separate island entirely and away from the world. So originally, the first one's called Gamma. It's called the Gamma War, and then this was basically going to be Gamma War 2. Now, this isn't a what if that we've ever thought about. like it's cool in a sense, but I was a bit like, okay. So we're going to this is the first episode of What If Season 3, and we're getting an episode every single day. So after recording this, we got another episode again. So we aren't going to review this entirely at the end because it's going to be 8 episodes. But this wasn't one I was like, oh, yay. Oh, that's fantastic. Like, that was this is really cool. Probably the biggest drawback for me that was a bit like hit or miss is that, you know, we've got characters in here we haven't seen in a very long time. For example, Moon Knight and Shang-Chi. They're in this for less than for like 2 seconds, and then they're gone again. And it feels like you're like, oh my god, these characters are back, yay! And they're gone again. And I don't know when you're going to appear again. Like, don't get me wrong, the voice characters are back, and we do know that Shang-Chi is going to both appear in What If Season 3, I think in another episode, and he's going to be appearing in Marvel Zombies. But I'm like, yay, like, as soon as you are here, you're gone again. That's what I find annoying. And looking, there might be a massive final where he does have a little bit more scenes in it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, I guess in this week watching Creature Commandos, watching Dexter, watching Skeleton Crew, which are like a very high bar, and then coming to this, going back into the Marvel world, I was a bit like, I don't know, underwhelming. A little bit underwhelming. Like they had, like I said, like cool moments, seeing the mechs, seeing what happens if Hulk would get way too much gamma and what would happen to him if he turns into a giant monster. Which is cool. But at the same time, I was a bit like, no, okay. Kind of hope that like next day's episode will be better. Hopefully, like that's just the problem I have in this sense. So I don't know. Like right now, I'm almost more inclined to tell everyone to, well, you as a viewer and as watchers, my recommendation right now is to wait after the week's over and just binge watch all the episodes. Because right now, this episode isn't going to be my top tier, which I did find in season 2 of What If. Season 1 of What If, nearly liked every single episode. Season 2 was like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good. It was a bit more hit and miss. And I feel like that might be what we're going to be getting in this season as well, which I could be wrong. I could be wrong and hold that against me until we watch at the very end. But yeah, I was just a bit like, that's cool, but I miss these characters and the what if. And again, as I said, we get another wonderful thing where the Avengers do die again. And what if Tony dies again, which is, I feel like, is the completely planned. And what if is that how many times can we kill Tony Stark? Every single time. But like, I want to know, like, what did you think about the episode? What did you think about Creature Commandos, Skeleton Crew, Dexter as well? But yeah, what did you think about this first episode? Like, for me, as a Marvel fan, this didn't really grab me as much as I thought. Like, there we are. I'm really excited for Cat 4. I'm really excited for every single movie that's coming out next year. I'm excited for Friendly and with Spider-Man, and I'm excited for all of it. But as a Marvel fan, this episode really didn't really kick it for me, and was just slightly annoyed in all of it about what was missing. I was like, oh, well, they could have done more in that sense of what it could be. But look, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about the first episode. What do you want? What's the next if that you want to see that you're really excited for? Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what do you think about the rest? But look, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you very much for coming in for this episode and every single week. And I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, a safe holidays. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode. And with 2025 right around the corner, oh, there's so much to celebrate, so much to talk about, so much is coming. But ladies and gentlemen, that's my reviews for the last 3 episodes. So as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.